John, I am a sales agent who shares information with clients via text or emails. How many times is it okay to follow up a client until I can conclude that they're not interested anymore? And this is very important, especially when you see the scene zone. In WhatsApp, you have the blue marks. On Viber, you have the two purple marks. They keep on giving you a scene zone, but they will not reply, right? Here are a few considerations. Number one, we all know this by experience. An interested client is a client who will likely reply. It may not be on the same day, but they will not go beyond 2 or 3 days, or they will not ignore you even up until the second follow-up. Silence, on the other hand, on the third or follow-up, usually means that they're starting to fade away, right? Another one, however, here's where I will make a caveat, because it's not true that just because someone is not replying to you, they're no longer interested. It could be a lot of reasons. They were out of the country, and so they could not even check their SMS for roaming because their roaming was not activated. That happens a lot for VIPs. Another example would be a major life event happened such that they could not attend to even purchasing products at that time. So when you can, it doesn't hurt to follow them up a few weeks or months later, because your issue was not the interest, your issue was rather the timing. So they just need someone to nudge them at that point. Okay. Can I get an exclamation mark? Can we relate to that? John, but how do I follow up? That's what I will discuss later on. I will give some more information about this. John, if that is the case, and here's the next question, how do I therefore manage someone who is unresponsive on email, right? I mean, I still want to chase this person. Who knows, they might still be interested, but something is just hindering them to buy it. Well, can I just ask first our participants, averagely, when do you think is it okay to follow up an email? Could you please type? Letter A day after, letter B, 2 days, letter C, 3 to 5 days, or letter D, depends on the urgency. Could you please type? My answer here would be generally, okay? Generally, I think any email is worth pursuing 2 days after. But depending on how urgent it is, it could also be earlier or much later. For example, if you want the response from the person on the same day, can I just question, why are you sending an email when you can just need to do a phone call? Why are you sending an email when it could be a Viber or a WhatsApp chat? Because these platforms are going to give you faster responses rather than force-fitting it on an email. So I'm looking at the chat box. Ooh, we have lots of mixed answers. I have some letter A, some letter D, and letter B. I would say generally, regardless of the agenda of the email, 2 days is decent. You're not looking desperate, but you're at the right track that, hey, that's 48 hours, right? You should have at least seen it or send me a hi and hello afterwards. But yes, I will also agree. Letter D can also depend on the urgency. So a few considerations if someone is not replying to you anymore. So I mentioned this a while ago, an interested client will reply on the first or second follow-up. But if the person really does not reply anymore, some 3 techniques. Number 1, switch it up. Change your written platform. They have already manifested that they will not reply to you on email because they have stopped replying on email. So what do? Give them an impression that you are not stopping and giving up yet. Change it. If you have their email address, ask also for their mobile number at the very start so that when they stop replying on email, you can still message them on Viber. You can still message them on SMS and say something like, hey, Jonathan, I was reaching out to you on email a few weeks ago, sending you an SMS just in case you missed it out. Let me know if you're interested to discuss. That's one. Another one could be if they really don't reply on WhatsApp, if they don't reply on Viber. You know, sometimes, and I think this is doable as well, look for their Facebook account or LinkedIn account. This case-to-case basis, but I have seen many situations when this was effective. Case in point, this happened to me last year. So we've had a client, and this is a very big client, like a really well-known client that you see every day on television. And they haven't been paying us for 6 months. It could be because the manager was just lazy. I don't know what happened, but we were talking to their procurement. The procurement says we can't pay you unless we have the documents. So we were dependent on this person who needs to sign it, but the person's not replying to our email. I've given them an SMS. I've give them a missed call, still no response. So you know what I did? I stalked this person on Facebook. I stalked this person on LinkedIn. And I sent them a private message and I said, hey, perhaps your email or your mobile number have been deactivated or you're in a different country, but I have been chasing your team for a few weeks now. Could you please give me a call back because I'd like to discuss X, Y, and Z? And we got a reply. And there were a lot of reasonable thoughts afterwards. She mentioned that she lost her phone, so the phone wasn't at all being used, and that was the reason, I guess, why she wasn't responding. I don't understand the email because she's still using the same email. Perhaps she's just really ignoring me, or she blocked me in her email account. But when I sent her a message on Facebook, it sent her this implication: I am not giving up. I'm chasing you. I'm still monitoring you. Of course, you're not saying that out loud, but at the back of your mind, it's what you're trying to tell to this person. And the person might just give you that extra attention. Can I get an exclamation mark if you can relate to that? This is just me, okay? Because I think I can pull it off. So it does not work to everyone. There was a part of me that felt, what if, even if I send this person on Facebook, the person will not reply to me at all, right? My second resort was that I will look for another colleague of this person on LinkedIn who likely is in the same team, and I will message that person, right? This has been done by some of my other colleagues as well, and it works for them. Because sometimes it's very embarrassing if your attention is being called out, not by the party, but by your teammate who says, hey, someone's been bugging me. It's your agency. They said that you haven't paid yet. Why are they bugging me? You're supposed to do this job. Internally, that's going to be their issue. But the point is, you have no other choice. You have been ignored for a few weeks. You want to message and get their access. That's also doable. Okay? Here's one more. Make a phone call. So again, this may not happen to everyone, but many times I find phone call or missed calls effective. You don't have the intention of talking to them over the phone. If they're not picking it up, the fact of the matter is there was a missed call. You documented that you have attempted multiple times to call them. Why it's important? Because if push comes to shove, that this becomes a legal issue, you have proof that this person was contacted many times and the person was resisting it. Can I get an exclamation mark if you see that as an important aspect? I wish that you don't go as far as legal interaction, okay? But if you can, if it happens, you need to save yourself. Those missed calls, those timestamps, and by the way, even if, I want to highlight, because I work from the telecommunications company in the past, even if you lose your phone, that timestamp of a missed call is recorded in the network system of Globe, Telecom, or Smart, or whatever company that is. You want that to be documented. Same thing also, leave an SMS. Hi, Jonathan, I'm sending this SMS because of blank and blank. So all those things are hard to be denied, okay? The emails are important, but add additional footprints. So you're like Hansel and Gretel. Your goal is to leave as many breadcrumbs as you can so that if you need to show proof later on, you have all the receipts. I think that's a very important part. In 2022, my motto in life is if you have a receipt, you can be as confident as you can to battle life. All right? And then the last one, which I mentioned a while ago, look for the alternative contact. A seatmate of the person, a teammate of the person, it could be the boss of a person. I've done that many times. The person was not replying to me anymore. I contacted the head instead. Of course, I don't do that immediately on the first week. If I haven't been paid for the next 3 or 6 months, or someone did something to me critically that I think needs the attention of someone higher, I will address that person as well. And thank God for LinkedIn, because almost everyone has a LinkedIn account. And you can put the puzzle pieces together to find out if they are teammates and if they are working in the same team as well. Okay? So don't underestimate the power of LinkedIn. It is practically a free database of employees. Take it with a grain of salt. This is why if you have a LinkedIn account, it also means that you are easily searchable in terms of your footprints in the corporate world. Okay? If the client remains to be silent, if you're chasing the client for selling something, then you can start deprioritizing them, because let's face it, guys, there are other fish to hunt in the sea. However, as I mentioned, do not permanently shelve them. Every 3 to 6 months, if you're selling something, contact them again. You will never know when timing favors for you. They may not be replying to you last month because they did not have the budget to purchase your product. But later on, it's all about a race. Who's the fastest to engage, because now that they have the budget for it.